Good afternoon to everyone. So, it gives me really immense pleasure to be present here second time in a very short notice. Thanks to Secretary Maharaj and management and principal. And I was here to inaugurate the bridge course. And my son told me, why don't you give a lecture to them? And I thought over it and discussed with former principal, Mr. Tirunavkarsu. I thought I will give a generalized lecture to you on day to day about earth, what we live, and little bit about ocean. And I know it's very difficult for you after lunch to sit here and be awake. And I try to make it in such a way that it is more of video and you can always interrupt me, make it informal. உங்களுக்கு என்ன கொஸ்டின் இருந்தாலும் கேளுங்க, தயக்க வேண்டாம், எப்போ வேணாலும் நிறுத்தி என்னை கேட்கலாம். ஸோ let us make this as a more of an interactive session, and thanks to Secretary Maharaj that he has taken a lot of effort so that whatever little knowledge I know, that should be transferred to the students like you all. I'm sure that you all, many of you are from the science background, and let us not get bound to what specialization we have got. Let us try to understand what is around us and what the science has given to us. So I have given a topic like this, Introduction to Earth System Everyday Life. And what the science has given to us is, it has given a two important role, one to question and support the society. Whether you like the science or whether you accept science or not, science is always truth, because it comes with mathematical evidence to show us that, yes, today what you have progressed is mainly because of science, and that led to the engineering and technology to proceed further. And it's an interesting picture to talk about Earth, where we live in, one of the most used picture which was clicked many years ago. There are many more have come now. It's one of the first ever satellite picture which has made us to understand, yes, this is what is Earth. What is this Earth system we are talking in today's lecture is, it comprises of 5 important parts, where you got atmosphere, you got a bio, you got a geo, all are linked to that, and we live part of the whole system. We know that we are partner to that, but we don't differentiate, because this comes as a whole system for us to think about that. There is a lot of interconnectivity among themselves. Today we will discuss about what is that interconnectivity, what makes the whole system to function, and what is the fulcrum for that, and what makes the function. And the Earth system, this is what I said. First to talk about atmosphere. Atmosphere is very important for us. It is connecting to us, and whatever disturbance we have got in atmosphere, that affects our day-to-day life. We will discuss how the atmosphere is getting disturbed mainly because of the human activity. There is a geosystem, like Earth has got its own minerals and resources, and how this is that. Then biological component, we have got a lot of biological component around that, and that is functioning either terrestrial or underwater. And also we got an ocean to play a major role, that a water system what you have got. So all it encompasses to make sure that the whole system function. Now when you talk about weather and climate, it's linked to us day-to-day life. Then we have got the water we use, then food what we take, and the energy, and all are linked to that, and linked to this Earth system what I am talking today. Now why this is important is, you must have been hearing about this name, climate change and pollution. These are all disturbances, human-made disturbances. What we have done is affecting the Earth system, that equilibrium is affected. That's what today I will try to impress upon you. What was originally existed equilibrium, what for our greed and need we are trying to disturb, we are continuing to disturbing that, and what type of role individual countries playing to mitigate that or trying to reduce that. Because our requirements are changing, our need is changing, our comfort level is changing. So the technology is advancing in faster than what was expected. So we have to cope up with that. In addition to that, we have to preserve the system so that That is what sustainability coming into the picture. Sustainability is nothing but today what you got, we try to ensure that we leave it for the future generation. If you keep exploiting it today, maybe future generation don't have. What we got today mainly because our past generation is left to us, we are able to enjoy that. So the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG talks about that. There are 17 goals. And a few days ago I spoke about SDG 14, that is about life below water. That is about ocean. So there are targets related to that. Every country has to work on the targets, and maybe some of you may get into your IAS position so you are all the leaders to think about the target and work on it. So the earth system is not as such, it is singular alone. It is related to human also. It is related to our life also. We are also part of that. The society is also part of that. And all of the system is interconnected. It can be physical, chemical, biological. We may differentiate in the science part of it. But it's all interconnected, interrelated. Any disturbance may, in one system can affect that. You know very well about the food web, where the food web is connected by the birds and insects in the terrestrial. In the underwater, you have small elements, phytoplankton, zooplankton, and small fishes, bigger fishes, mammals. They all live to that. If one of the species gets removed in the whole system, then the connectivity gets lost. That is what we need to understand about that. Now, for all these things, we know very well that it has been written very well in our literature. We know in our culture it is very well talked about that. Today being a yoga day, we know the importance of sun. The scientific part, I thought I will impress upon you. All the energy comes from the solar energy. So today everything is linked to that. So unless you have the system which is perfect, it's difficult for us. So the next part, what we are getting out of this, the energy what we get from the energy cycle, what you got is one component of that. Energy cycle comes from the sunlight. The energy cycle makes us to proceed and continue to have this interaction. The sunlight penetrates and sunlight makes us to do work in this regard. Next we talk about the water cycle. Again the sunlight plays a major role. We have been taught in the school that water vapor goes up and rain falls. But the other side, even in Tirukkural, it is clearly written that all this nature system is working for us to provide. They don't take it. If one of them stops, for example, water is evaporated, we don't get back as a rain, then it's a big disturbance. So far, nature is working continuously, making all of us to live. So this is what is the whole system is all about. The water cycle, we know very well about the water cycle. It's a little bit complex when you go interior, but in general we talk about the water cycle. The nitrogen cycle, very important for us. Nitrogen is part of our atmosphere. Nitrogen is part of the whole system. The nitrogen cycle should be preserved in this. Carbon cycle. This is what today we are worried about, that the carbon dioxide, which is quantity is increasing. That is what is disturbing. Slowly we will see what is this carbon cycle, how it is linked to that. So there are many more cycles. I don't want to bore you. Just to appreciate that what you got is sunlight. From that we are getting all this cycle that is part of the earth system what we live in. Now, does the sunlight fall uniform on the earth? No. We have got a curvature. Because of that, it doesn't fall uniform. The incidence of the light, it differs. That's the reason in the polar region it is very cold, and the equatorial region, where close to us, it's warmer and hot. We call that as a tropical region. So, what does it make? It makes a larger difference. I teach in IIT University on climate change and the oceans. That's a bigger talk about that. I will not tell you here. Make you to understand that these differential in heating, making the seawater to flow into the polar region and come back. Because you know very well from hot region it goes to the cold region and comes back. There is a level of water cycle. There is also a underwater cycle which is there from continent to continent that travels. The whole earth, 70% is water, and that's all driven by the sunlight, what it penetrates into that. So I'm trying to impress upon you to say that it has got a larger role to play. Now we know very well that there is a tilt there, 23-degree tilt. Again, that is also affecting, that is also playing a major role. And again, because of that, the wind, the heating of the wind takes place, the wind flows. Today, wind is flowing, it could be global or it could be local. The global wind pattern is the one which is affecting the monsoon. You must have seen that the monsoon cycle comes, specifically the rain, in the month of June. First it starts in Kerala, goes down, and we get in the other way in October, November. So it's again the wind which is coming from the Somalia side, it flows down mainly because of the desert far away gets heated up. So there is a differential heating of the land and the water. We call it the heat capacity. Let me not go much in detail. So there is something different. Same like that when you look at the beach, you have the wind is flowing because of the differential heating. It's all linked to sunlight and heat, what we get from there. Now the surface winds, you can see the complexity. Maybe if you are interested, there are good video lectures on that. Please go through that. I always give in my lecture keywords. Sometimes I see that people come back to me and because you are all much better off in the technology component, you can, from these keywords, you can read a lot and there are beautiful lectures available online. This is about interesting picture on the surface winds. As I told you, how the differential heating making the wind to flow and the wind is traveling along the coast. We have a specific wind. Monsoon is only for our region. Of course, later on they found monsoonal pattern. When the Westerners wanted to sail to our water, they used the sailboats. But somebody need to know about the monsoonal wind direction. And so some of them helped. Pollination, they call it later on. Some Arab people have helped them to come over there. So the wind pattern is much more important. I will not tell you much about this. There is something for you to know about that, understand about that. There is a bigger level is happening in that. Same like that, ocean also there is a current. We call gyre. Ocean is in the form of circular. The atmosphere also wind pattern varies. It's in the form of circle. So there is some movement which is happening continuously. This is whole time process which is making the whole earth system to continue to perform their duty respectively. Can I touch that video? And the video touch panel. I'll try. This is about Coriolis effect. Earth is rotating. Because of Earth is rotating, we have this Coriolis effect which makes the water to flow or wind pattern to flow. It's a classic video to show you. Two people are moving around. When they throw the ball, as long as they are stationary, the ball reaches the other person. The Coriolis effect in such a way that the ball moves in the direction, different direction. So this is in clockwise in the northern hemisphere where we live in, that is above equator. This is counterclockwise in the below the equator. So I hope you understood the effect of Coriolis effect. Why the rotation of the earth. Next time I am trying to complicate you. So far I consider earth as a system which is separate and I showed you sun in 2-dimensional. The 3-dimension, when you visualize that, earth is rotating. Because of that, there is a movement. To make you to say, I will come back to 108 later. You go to home, you have your sink, you close the sink, fill the tap, water, remove the cap. The water will be going in swirling effect. You will, somebody in front of you or somebody relative is there in Australia, tell them to do, the water direction is opposite. I have sailed, basically I used to sail a lot in earlier days of my life. We cross the equator and go to southern part of the earth. When you cross the equator, you won't find that. I myself have seen, I have told whoever is first time sailing, I used to tell them, you do that, it won't happen. So that is a Coriolis effect to visualize for you to talk about that. Next is 108. Your grandmother would have told you to chant sloka 108 times. Your grandmother would have told you to go to temple 108 times. There is also somebody says that remove 0, 18 chapters in Gita, 18 literature you got in Upanishad. That's another side. But coming back to today's topic, there is a relation our ancient, we call them as today we can call them scientists or mathematicians, such intelligent people, they have clearly understood that anytime in the interview somebody asks you, you can always remember this picture to say that there's 108 times the distance between sun and earth. That is the size of the sun, that's 108 times. If 107.2 today you can calculate, but the whole number remains same. Same way the second picture, where there is a size difference between these two also. Same way with the moon, earth and the moon, 108 times of the moon is the distance between that. So this is the beauty of the number 108 that will make you to remember that at any time to your friends you can ask about that. So this picture I thought is an interesting part to make you to know why we are in our system, we talk about 108. You know about the importance of 108. This is click that. We have seen sun, you have seen the moon coming up. Nighttime, fortunately you are on the coast. There's a picture from the moon, video is taken, earth is coming up, other side. This is for you to visualize how the earth is coming up from the moon. So the moon video camera was placed there to record that. Why this planet is habitable? Why earth is, we are able to live peacefully? What makes it? One of the reasons is we are in a perfect distance from the sun, so that the detrimental effect or the heat of the sun is not more. In addition to that, there are many factors. Factors like carbon dioxide present is in a correct position. I will tell you next what other planets you got. Then you got ocean. Ocean plays a major role. The ocean did not absorb the carbon dioxide. Ocean did not absorb the heat enough. We won't be having the temperature what is conducive enough for us, like us, living organisms to live on the earth. So that makes the whole thing habitable planet what we live in. This is an interesting picture. Why we are worried about carbon dioxide liberation, why we are bothered is, close to us, you got Venus, you got Mars. That is not habitable because the carbon dioxide blanket is so much there, it's so hot.
Sir, one question here. Why you didn't mention the presence of water?
I said about ocean.
Oh, oceans. Okay, fine. So if the Earth will be displaced from its current position to the next position in the planet, except for the temperature, every other parameter will remain same? Do you think Earth will be habitable even then? No, if it's going to be next, if the Earth is going to take the
importance of water, I will tell you. Mainly say put the water. Ocean is because 71% is ocean.
No, assuming the water content is there, Earth gets swapped with the next planet, Venus, right? So if it gets swapped with Venus, do you think Earth will be still habitable? Only the temperature is going to change.
Venus, what could have been?
So if you can speak on the mic, maybe all of a sudden.
Not only that, you think of the whole earth system along with whatever I said. If it is shifted is one story. As such, if you are changing it, what has happened in Venus, if you look at it 300 millions ago, Venus was different. Over the years, the carbon dioxide has increased, Venus has changed. Now for us, the beauty here is He existed 300 million years ago, mainly because of the many other ecosystem, what it has got, whatever changes have taken place, it got absorbed. The shifting that is what is important here is that the distance, what I want to emphasize here is a perfect enough
for us to get the equal amount of sunlight, equal amount of other components of the earth system. We have got nitrogen and oxygen in properly placed. I did not go much in detail. There's a complete mathematical equation which will talk about all of the equilibrium condition which is present over there. It makes the whole equilibrium stable. That's why we are here. That is what we are worried about carbon dioxide. One equilibrium we are shifting. Definitely, I will show you how the earth temperature is increasing in the future slide. Slowly, I am making them to get complicated. Otherwise, they'll get bored. Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your patient listening. It should not be overhead transmission. உங்களுக்கு புரியலன்னா நிறுத்திடுங்க, சொல்லிடுங்க என்கிட்ட எனக்கு புரியல அப்படின்னு. சரியா? ஸோ இது தமிழ்லேயே சொல்லிக்கிறேன். இது உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பிக்சர் ஏன் எர்த்தில் நம்மளால் வாழ முடியுதுங்கிறதுக்கு நம்ம பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிற பிளானட்டுடைய ஒரு கம்பேர்ஸ் இதே மாதிரி. இது ஒரு முக்கியமான பாயிண்ட். சுவாமிஜி, ஐ திங்க் யூ காட் த ஆன்சர். This is the only planet where water is in all the three forms. Nowhere else. This is an answer for you. So this is mainly because of the equilibrium condition, whatever I said. So this is the beauty of this planet. You got water vapor, you got water in the form of solid, you are having water in the form of liquid. All the three forms you have it only here. Why people said we found water in Chandrayaan or moon? Because of that, they thought if water is there, then there could be a living thing there over there. Then next is, we get these names very often, weather and climate. Anybody can tell me what is weather? Fantastic. What is climate? Fine, long term. Very good, I got an answer. Weather is nothing but short term. What is happening tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 7 days. That is what weather prediction. Climate is nothing but we call decadal, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. When you talk about modeling that, weather is short-term modeling, climate is long-term modeling. So there is a difference between these two. That's enough. He gave an answer, I understood that. Why we are worried about climate change is this long-term effect, whatever the anthropogenic effect, the human interference, that is affecting the whole system. That's what we are worried about, the climate change. Anybody can tell me what is the pressure? Here, don't see the slide. You remember low pressure they are telling during Ramanan comes and tells you, or Balachandran comes and tells there is a low pressure formation, rain is coming in the TV. Anybody can tell me what is pressure? Okay, it's one atmospheric pressure, is a pressure which is present here. You can tell in hectopascal or MPa. It's about 1005 today. I just googled it today morning. For your place is 1005. If it's slight disturbance, then there is a cyclone or a disturbance what you got. So the pressure is an important factor. We normally measure the pressure and give it to them for weather prediction. Pressure is we have recorded only once 996-95 during one of the cyclone. And the pressure decreases as you go up or increases when you go in the aircraft? Decreases. As you go up, it decreases. We will see as you go down what happens to that. Now, factors affecting the change in the weather climate, we know very well that the change in solar energy or the surface radiation. I work a lot on the radiation part of it, solar incoming and outgoing radiation. We have a lot of measurements, we have publication related to that. You can click that. This is, Swamiji's your picture, how the surface temperature of the earth over 100 years is changing. Is it working? Yeah. You can see that this is continuous data, the surface heat is increasing. Another evidence is that you know very well the places like glaciers in Geneva. I have gone many times there. They told me that in Geneva, 1000 meter depth they had 0 degree. Now they have got To get the 0 degree, they have to go to 3000 meter depth. So the air there has got warmed up. So that is mainly because of the detrimental effect what we are facing. This is to show you how the earth is getting heated up because of various industrial activity what you have got. This is a main reason for that. You must have studied in the school about greenhouse gas effect. Anybody can tell me? In school you have studied, I have seen in many school exhibitions, students explain to me well. What is this greenhouse gas effect? Carbon dioxide and what happens because of that? Fantastic, correct. So not only carbon dioxide, methane comes from the rice plant and rice field or paddy fields. So these are all effect of that. What is happening from the sunlight? It falls on the earth and some of them are absorbed, some of them are liberated back to that. When it is got liberated back to that, it has to go. Some portion like UV radiation is trapped. Anybody can tell me 5 layers of atmosphere? Ionosphere, troposphere, lithosphere. Yeah. So that is what is helping us. Ozone layer, what is that? O3, what is that? The ozone layer is nothing but the layer which is protecting the earth from the UV radiation which is coming from the sun. When the ozone layer is punctured by CFC, carbon fluorocarbon, the UV radiation will be much more. So we have got such a system which is working. Unfortunately, we have got a blanket like you rightly said, carbon dioxide or a greenhouse gas effect, which is trapping that, making it falls back to the earth. That's the reason we have seen earth getting heated up. This is a classic picture to show you. I made it more visualization than text. This is what current trend of teaching methodology talks about that. So as much as possible, less amount of text is required. So this picture will clearly tell you why it's getting heated up, why we are worried about that. So it is trapping that so that the heat, the reflection back from the earth is not coming forward. This is a classic picture. The measurement of carbon dioxide is done in one place in Hawaii. And we have already crossed 400 ppm. An important point to you note, this are all scientists, is only one place in the earth. If you measure all over the earth, it's same. This is what the chemistry tells about that. This is what the importance of science. You don't need to measure carbon dioxide all places. There's a pristine place in one of the Hawaii Island remote location. They are measuring that. This is Achilles curve, we call it. And the sun is continuing this particular experiment. And the threshold value, even IPCC report talks about that. We have crossed the threshold value. The differential heating 1.5 degree pre-industrial era, now we are trying to achieve that. We have already crossed 2 degrees centigrade. And the United Nations Secretary General, when he visited India for the G20 meeting, he clearly said none of the countries are taking efforts. It's increasing further. So this is a classic picture. Maybe you can read more about this Achilles curve. Maybe in the interview somebody can ask you the importance of that. This is what climate change is all about. Change is what is happening. The earth is getting warmer by all our activity. Now what is our location where we have here? Next topic. We are coming to earth now and the place. Exactly your college. How do you define that? You are using Google's map. You are using Google Earth. Anybody can tell me? Somewhere you have seen when you are using your booking a car. Okay. This is your location. This is, I always ask this question, what is Chennai location? So the location we have got, that is, the top one is called latitude. The bottom one is called longitude. So this is the location where we live in. Next time please see in the Google map, Google Earth in particular. And the earth is rotating, we know very well that it is 24 hours. The revolution taking place and it is a form of elliptical. And anybody knows prior to this, what is the radius of the earth? Now you can remember that. You would have read circumnavigating the earth, either through the boat or something like that. He has to travel this 2 pi r distance to travel. It's close to about 44,000. Why I am showing is that to find a location, how you are finding the location, you are using the mobile. There are satellites. It may look like some movie name, Leo, Geo, Meo. That is low Earth orbiting satellite, where the satellites are positioned at 2000 kilometers. Then you got geostationary satellite. The satellites are positioned in such a way that it revolves along with the Earth so that it pinpoints one particular location. This is called geostationary. You got MEO, medium Earth orbiting satellites. So various satellites are there. They are all positioned in respective places. That is what is giving us the correct location, what we have got. That is what making us for the weather prediction. That is what making us for the navigation purpose. That is what helping us for the ship to move around or the aircraft to move around. Many other things are happening. The bottom picture clearly talks about. We will see what is geo and what is located. Next level I will tell you. Now, the question comes to you, what is this latitude or longitude? It's an imaginary line. You have north to south and you have got east to west. These lines are, I will not bore you much about that. I teach marine surveying in another course more about this. This is to show you clearly where do you stand and where do you want to go. One place to another place we call waypoint. Waypoint you can always give. There are various methods, Mercator method and many other, Everest method to find the location. This is the general what we normally use, latitude and longitude. We live in northern hemisphere. So latitude you write N and east or west we define that. In southern hemisphere it is written yes. Now the satellites are positioned. They keep revolving around. There are many countries are launching. It's completely crowded over there. There's also a discussion about debris. We are leaving that abandoned satellite. There are discussion about how to bring it back. There's a particular place on the earth in Pacific Ocean. Maybe you Google search where most of the satellites are defined after performance to fall there. There's no man's land in the ocean. Somebody knows a place? Please read about that place. It's please, who is that? What is it? No. That is a different story. Bermuda Triangle is a different story. Okay, this is close to Australia and New Zealand. Bermuda Triangle, you are talking about other part. Now, satellite telemetry is a one thing where the communication is used. Satellite phones are used even for the tower. The telemetry is nothing but transferring the radio signal from one part to another part. Today, advancement of technology is happening. So, this is a advancement which has taken place in the last 50-60 years, which is happening over there. Geostationary satellite, geo, is very important. Anybody has done in the school this calculation? Somebody has taught you? This is positioned at 36,000 kilometers, where the distance is calculated in such a way that 24 hours, 23 hours and 50 minutes, 24 hours rotation, exactly where this has to be positioned, taking into account of the diameter of the earth or radius, the distance is calculated, and there is also a force because of the gravity as well as a centripetal force equating that. This particular equation is solved. Maybe for a fun sake, please see this equation, try to solve yourself. Maybe when you write some examination, this may be asked. What is geostationary satellite and why it is positioned over there? This is a different way I thought I will tell you. Today we have a phone and we are able to get that there. All the satellites have got an atomic clock. Atomic clock is nothing but so precise. It adjusts in such a way that it can find. What happens, the location is mainly because of the travel time. We precisely know from there a signal is sent, how much travel time it takes to receive it and get it back. So what is done in triangulation is a method by which minimum 3 satellite locations are required. We can pinpoint, and if you have got 4th one, precisely you can find that. There are also earth, we got towers, we got earth station, that is also supporting. Today advancement of technology is helping us in such a way. Precisely We are able to tell mainly because of this technique which is being adopted. And these satellites are located in LEO or up to some extent MEO also, 2000 to 30,000 kilometer level. They continuously correct it and give you the GPS. You must have heard about the name GPS, Global Positioning System, where GPS is used for accurately positioning a system. This is the way the ship navigation is taking place. Everything is done mainly because of that. You should appreciate now when you use a mobile, when you are going in Ola or Uber, this technique is used by which the correct location is found. Next is about ocean. We know very well that Earth consists of 71% ocean. You would have rarely seen a picture like this. This is the Pacific side of the ocean, Pacific side of the Earth, where you don't find land. It's only ocean. Normally you find Earth in a different way. I show this picture to make it to record in your mind that major component of the Earth's surface is ocean. If, like Swamiji said, if the ocean did not exist, next slide, the Earth would have not have been the air what we breathe, the water what we drink, and the temperature what we live in. It's mainly because of the ocean what is present over there. There are tiny phytoplankton which is absorbing the equal amount of carbon dioxide liberated by the transport sector. Globally, how much our cars, trains, everything, that amount of carbon dioxide is absorbed by the phytoplankton. So they are all tiny plants on the ocean. So the ocean is really playing a major role. Until tsunami 2004, we thought ocean is best for fisheries and best for tourism and recreation. The tsunami has made us to think differently. There is also another component of that. History, you can run that video side. History of our Indian history, we should be proud of that. That video will show you how Chola kingdom way back 1330, I went to a place called Kadaram and Malaysia. How they have traveled and conquered all these places, and they had a navy. They were this particular research paper clearly talks about that. We are able to sail, and they know the wind pattern. And one of the paper clearly talks about when they when they went to Malaysia, they went along the coast of Burma because the wind direction is like that. When they returned back, they came via Sri Lanka. And when they returned back in the month of October, the unmarried girls used to be waiting there, saying that these male boys are waiting for the marriage to come. That is what is considered as a float festival. The float festival is not only near the coast, even the riverine region. You will find in Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, even some part of Odisha. So this is a connecting culture what still being there. So we had a technology. Today we talk about navigation, we talk about tools. So I used to tell this when I visit schools and say, yes, we had our strength those days. It is not that somebody brought from other country. This was our own expertise what you got. Place in Lothal in Gujarat is got a place where the ship was dry docked. I've also worked in that region where we found a lot of artifacts which is 5,000 years old. And Dwaraka, where I had also worked with earlier when I was in NAO, Mr. Dr. Rao, he was a famous marine archaeologist. He had worked on it. We found anchors and dating back. All those things we have done some dating work in those days. This is another interesting part about our country. I always say that even last time when I spoke here also I spoke about we are the largest producer of milk, wheat and paddy, and we are self-sufficient in the green revolution. The other component of the place which Swamiji asked, the placement of our country in such that we have got completely anything you call marine ecosystem in the world, we have got it here. We got mangroves close to Sundarban, in partly with Bangladesh we are sharing. We have got coral reef sharing with Sri Lanka. We have got coral reef in Andaman Nicobar Islands. We got seagrass where you find sea cow over there. We got nice estuary. You got Pulikat Lake, you got the Chilka Lake. So the whole system is such that last month I was there in Alain Francaise in the French embassy. There was a discussion about that. One of the local fishermen, he spoke very well about the whole ecosystem, and I had an opportunity to translate in English. So that is the knowledge we have got. about this ecosystem what we are having it over there. So this is what is the beauty. This is a corrected length. Recently, I posted in LinkedIn, more than 30,000 people have seen that. Government of India has corrected. We used to say that the coastal length of India is about 7,500 kilometers. Now it is corrected. It is extended mainly because of the calculation and accurate positioning of that. You can see that Andaman Nicobar brings about majority of that because so many islands are there. So the climate change, ocean do play a major role because ocean is getting warm up now. We call marine heat wave. You can see the cyclones are repeatedly coming. The cyclones are more in Bay of Bengal compared to Arabian Sea. Repetition of the cyclone between these two are increasing, and the rain, the continuous rain and flooding has become very common now, mainly effect of the climate change. And the sea level erosion, the places like Kerala coast and Tamil Nadu coast, erosion is a big issue. We are working on it. And the sea level rise, sea level is also rising. All this mainly because of the melting of the ice in polar region and also expansion of the seawater. This is to again about the coastal system. It was often said that the plants are, the terrestrial plants are important. Now it is understood that mangroves, which is, you got Pichawara mangrove here, they got 4 times more capability to absorb carbon dioxide compared to that. So there's a more interest to grow more mangroves or protect the mangrove ecosystem. Coral reef ecosystem has got more than 3,000 species. Coral reefs are such thing, they are all animals, but they got a plant, polyp, on tip of this coral reef. That is converting the photosynthesis, by photosynthesis converting the energy from the solar energy, that is providing to the animal. It's a beautiful way you can learn from the nature how they are coexisting it, how the symbiotic effect is helping them, one makes another one to survive. Today we discharge the agriculture waste or runoff, pollution, that is making the polyp or the surface plant is getting removed away, then the coral bleaching take place. That is what is a detrimental effect. The coral is one thing, is that it is 300, 400 years old. The person who went to space, he said that he found only one thing, that is a Great Barrier Reef, coral reef in Australia. You could see from there. That is the size of that coral reef there. These are, I don't know, somebody has seen this last year, this occurrence. I was also interviewed in TV. This is a algal bloom making different colors in the ocean. This is toxic. We are not supposed to go there. And dinoflagellates is one thing which is making this to happen. Sometimes it happens prior to the monsoon, the temperature conditions as well as the discharge from the runoff is making these pollutants, making this to happen. You can read about that algal bloom in literature. Wind, I told you earlier, I covered it. Wave, the wave is mainly, when you go to the beach, it's mainly because of the wind. Wind is bringing the waves to come over there. We do the wave measurements. We recorded the highest wave in Bay of Bengal. I have deployed many systems at sea to measure the wave. The waves, what we find shore is different. When you find in the open ocean, we call swells. And the waves are driven by wind. That much you should know. And this is the way when the wave moves from the shore, from the open ocean to the shore, because of the topography on the land mass, it gets elevated and it gets more energy to come over here. Now next is sonar. How do you measure the depth? Initial days when the sailors used to use a rope and they measure the depth. Subsequently they found a technique by which, I thought why I am showing you this particular one. This was also asked in one question there. This sound travels faster in the ocean, and the travel of sound when it reaches the seabed and return back, same like I told you in the satellite, the time difference is calculated to measure the depth. We call this equipment as an echo sounder. There are also 3D multi-beam echo sounders have come. You can see the complete topography of the seabed. Next is about the deep sea, which is unknown frontier. Major portion of the earth, even Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, EPCC talks about unknown things happening in the deep sea. The deep sea consists of, I have also listed various animals. Some of the whales can dive down up to 800-meter water depth and comes back to the surface. The sunlight penetrates only the top zone. As you go deeper and deeper, it's pitch dark. The deepest part of the earth is Mariana Trench, 11 kilometers. And in Indian Ocean, we have got the deepest regions about 5,600. I have sailed in that region. Now, the pressure in the ocean is hydrostatic. I told you the pressure now is 1 atmospheric, here 1 number value. As you go deeper and deeper, the pressure is increasing, mainly because of the water mass over there. Simple way, 1000-meter depth is 100 bar or 100 atmosphere. So the blood vessels cannot withstand. The divers cannot go more than 30 meters. So we need to design a system which can withstand the pressure. So we dive into the ocean and see. This is about the nature. This is a puffer fish in Japan. You can see the beautiful way how this is captured. Only in Japan and Korean coast you will find this fish. Have some patience. It makes a beautiful pattern on the bed. It's about 50-60 meter depth. It is there. No other fish is making such a pattern. It makes like a chakra with the poles over there. You can drag. Fuller, drag. Okay, next you click. It doesn't matter. It makes a nice circle. Next picture is because I think you are getting restless. I'll make it faster. Next is about underwater volcano. Next video. Next video. That is an underwater volcano. David Attenborough, he has shot this. This video is available online. There are also animals which is present in the deep ocean. And some of the animals are like glass transparent. And they can withstand the pressure, what I told you earlier. And I have also collected some of them at 5,000 meter depth. When they come to the surface, they get spoiled, they die. Maybe you can Google search and read about this underwater volcano. Because the temperature there is about 400 degrees. So animals do live over there, thriving on this high sulfur region. Next slide. This is a nice picture about, very rarely, only once it was recorded, like got tiny cells of plants or animals, they join together and maybe you can click. They make a nice, beautiful, like colorful crackers you'll find there. So you will find this has been recorded by underwater camera. Very rarely you'll find in the open ocean. Recently they published this particular work by on board a ship having a remotely operable vehicle. They all, like, you got a human form in a completely grown up, whereas these tiny ones are not grown up. They live and produce different lives and they go back and next set of cycle comes. This is a Titanic shipwreck. More than 105 years ago it has fallen into the sea. I went close to this place in Canada called St. John's. And it's very unfortunate thing that such a large ship collided with iceberg. And now the recent finding is that this ship is getting eaten away by microbes. Prior to Corona, we would not have believed that. Now we know that how the microbes too play a major role. And one of my friends, Ms. Dr. Hendrita Mann from Canada, she had documented to say that these tiny microbes are eating away. Another 20, 30 years down the line, this iron-reducing bacteria will completely consume. So this is to show you that the earth, what we live, got larger planet and smaller planet and many other things, interesting thing which is happening around us. We don't know. We still don't know about that. Science is still far away to understand. This is about another project which I was involved to produce fresh seawater, from seawater to fresh water, place in Lakshadweep where they were getting only rain water stored. In 2005, 20 years ago, we installed this system. It works on a principle, something more related to your physics laboratory, Choy's law and Boyle's law, where the water vaporizes at 1 bar pressure at 100 degrees centigrade. if the pressure can be reduced, water can be vaporized without having any temperature rise into that. That we know very well, PV is equal to MRT. By using this technique, we have drawn the surface seawater and taken to a vacuum chamber of 20 millibar. The seawater gets vaporized. The nature has got in half a kilometer distance and half a kilometer depth 10 to 12 degrees centigrade of cold water is there. The cold water is drawn by using a condenser. The vapor is converted into the fresh water that we produce and provide it to local people. Till then, they never had an opportunity. I visited some of these remote islands. Today, thanks to Honorable Prime Minister, 6 of the islands have got such a plant. And this technology is not available anywhere in the world. No one needs it. You cannot buy it from any other country. What I want to emphasize is that we as an Indian need to develop our own technology for our need. It's a classic example. And they work on simply 3 pumps. Like what you got plant here is the reverse osmosis principle. They produce brine solution which is to be sent back or disposed of. Whereas in nature, we don't need to do that. There's not much of an environmental impact related to that. And also maintenance of this plant is simple. Local fishermen, they are doing it, and that is being successfully done. Only thing, island to island, the topography varies, installation is difficult. We have gone through the hardship to install the system. This is from National Institute of Ocean Technology. When you click that, so one more slide, I lost it. I went to Arctic. I thought I would show you a short video where we have gone. You can find polar bear there. So I had an opportunity to design a system. Till now it's working last 10 years. It's collecting data. So we installed the system to collect physical, chemical, biological parameters. So this is a short duration. We got about 20 minutes time. If you make a mistake, we have to do it next year. So we have installed the system. It's completely submerged. When you go after 1 year, we release acoustic release, it pops up to the surface. With this, we have got good publication. We have understood the stratification of the water there and Bay of Bengal. We have also understood how the cyclone and formation taking place by having the acoustic measurements. Many other research work has happened mainly because of this. For this work only, our team was appreciated and we received the Honorable President Award in Rashtrapati Bhavan. So this is, can you click that? This is to show how the communication take place underwater. No, prior to that. அது வருதா அதில் கிளிக் பண்ணி பாருங்க அந்த சவுண்ட் அந்த கர்சர் எடுத்துட்டாங்க ப்ரீவியஸ்லி அந்த கர்சர் எடுத்து அந்த ஸ்பீக்கரில் this is what you can also Google search underwater communication like we're able to do that. No, it's not working. This is the whale they communicate. We record that sound. We share these data with for strategic application. You can Google search and find how the communication take place underwater by various. You can see. This is a dolphin noise, and we have also got a whale noise. So this is where they communicate, and it travels for a longer distance. This is to show you different thing in your mind what you won't be able to see in the normal condition. Very good. Finally, I thought I will show you about El Nino and La Nina. El Nino is something which is happening in Pacific Ocean, where the cold water is coming up due to upwelling phenomena, and that is affecting the whole earth. What you got, we got drought and the rain that is connected to that. This particular video you can see. El Nino is a period you will find lesser rainfall in one part of the earth and more rain in another part. La Nina is the reverse of that. This is happening in Pacific. We have got a good number of publications. We have got good data sets collected over there. And that is being repeated here. We have got Indian Ocean dipole for our own Indian Ocean. So this is the global phenomena. What we have got today, the effect of what is happening somewhere else is affecting us. I don't want to bore you more about science to tell you that yes, something is happening somewhere, but we too get affected. Very nice. This is a few slides to show you again technology development. Today what you got communication mainly because there are telecommunication laid on the seabed. These are all fiber optic cable. 10 lakh kilometer worth of cable is there. I am part of a steering committee with the 3 UN bodies, ITU, UNESCO and WMO. where we discussed and we wanted to attach instruments to this cable so that we get more amount of data for tsunami and cyclone warning. And Sundar Pichai, yes, they got about 16 cable worth of $16 billion. They found a certain amount of disturbance because these cables are calm and quiet. They keep collecting data. Even there are cables from Chennai to Singapore, Chennai to Andaman, and we got in Ambattur reception station that communicates optical to electrical and electrical back to optical. So they found a method by which the rainfall as well as cyclone could be captured. Again, by same thing what you have seen in dolphin and whale communicating acoustically, the acoustic measurements were done. So we are working with them, trying to see how best the advancement of technology is beneficial to the society. This is to conclude and say that as an individual, what you all can contribute. The Gaja cyclone came, about 70 lakhs worth of coconut trees have fallen down. We normally, our team used to go and give small helping to the people. Nothing in front of whatever Swamiji and Ramakrishna Math has done. That is to show you, to motivate that we joined together and we started giving one coconut tree for 7 years or a generation. We could get about 20 lakhs worth of donations all over the world, and 20,000 coconut trees were given to the people. And thanks to many of them, during the COVID time also we worked closely. Today all the trees have grown and they are getting the benefit, they are getting the video. And we have to close down mainly because we are government servants and we are not NGO. That is to show you, yes, you all can contribute and give back to the society. Because of the society we are here, and that should inculcate as you grow. And that's what I thought I will show you this slide. And I also mentor school students. This is a classic case. Some school student, 5th standard from Austin, USA, they contacted me, and we have also approached them through NOAA. They have done some design underwater robotics where they can use umbrella type of solar charges, and they fetched in this district level to state level to the world level. We were supporting them, and last month I organized an A for the Oceans, a conference in SRM University. I made these boys to make a presentation in front of international audience. They got motivated. We used to conduct essay competition in IIT Delhi, and some of the school students, including from Melamal, they participated and they have written a very good article, and I convinced an international journal, which is a peer-reviewed journal publishing last 50 years. Have you ever published a school student journal articles? It got peer-reviewed, and out of 10, we shortlisted 4 by experts in India. Finally, experts in US, they are shortlisted. Thanks to these 2 children. Now, one of them have gone and she has joined MBBS. So we keep motivating them, and I get connected to them and say that, yes, this is what small thing you all can do. Try to help the society. Finally, last time also I spoke about that. Passion is important. I am not an oceanographer. I am an engineer. All these days, last 1 hour I spoke about oceanography and related to Earth. There are enough material available. You can read. Even I also teach for the law university students. We have launched a course called Polar Law. That is my idea. 1,300 students have joined together. So mainly because of passion. So continue the passion. Yes, you need skills. Skill will come automatically as you grow by repetitive method. Let us achieve. Everybody has got their own potential and talent. Let us all grow together and contribute to each and serve the society. With that, I conclude. Thank you very much. This is small work. I was also in United Nations. I served in various committees. I had an opportunity. I come from a very small village. This is to motivate and say that these are all different UN bodies. I represented India, UNESCO, IOC, World Meteorological Organization, and Indolas and Nairobi, as well as UNEP Nairobi. I have visited 40 countries. நானும் உங்களை மாதிரி தமிழ் மீடியத்தில் படித்தவன் தான். Language is not a barrier. You all can grow. Thank you very much.